Don't force the feminine to make decisions. A man's abandons responsibility by expecting that his woman will always make her own decisions and then be accountable for the results. This expectation is a withholding of his masculine gift. It puts a woman in the position of magnifying her own masculine. It is good for some women to learn to animate their masculine capacity to make a decision and stick with it. But if a man abnegates his responsibility to provide his woman with the gift of masculine clarity and decisiveness, then she will become chronically sharp, angular, and distrustful of his love. She will cease surrendering in love with him, cease trusting his masculine capacity, and instead become her own man. Your woman asks you for input, and you say, whatever you do is fine with me. This is the statement of a friend, not a lover. As friends, you want to treat each other fairly and give each other space and independence. As lovers, you and your woman are more than just friends. You are playing the full dynamic of masculine and feminine polarity. Wouldn't you like your woman to be a goddess and offer you feminine gifts? To evoke them, you must offer her your masculine gifts. One of your most valuable gifts is the ability to see all the options and make a decision based on the view of all the potential outcomes. Feminine decisions are based on what feels right. And often feels that this often is the best way to make a decision. However, the point in intimacy is not simply to make the best decision, but to make the best decision while maintaining the force of masculine feminine polarity that takes you together to begin with. If that polarity begins to diminish, conflicts will begin to increase. When that polarity disappears, attraction disappears, and the life of the intimacy disappears with it. You need to play the masculine pole. If you want your woman to play the feminine, offering your perspective on decisions is one way to give your masculine gift. Even on the most trivial decisions, never say, do whatever you want. If she asks you what shoes you think look better on her, make a decision and tell her. Don't just say, they're both nice. Say something like, I like the red shoes. But that's the most important to me, is that you're happy. She's of course free to wear whatever she wants, but she's also the recipient of your masculine gift of decisiveness. Perhaps your woman is trying to make a career decision, something that will affect her for many years. She might feel into it and do what feels best to her, which would be a feminine style of making a decision. Or she might be trying to make a decision based on the different possible outcomes of her choices, which would be a masculine style because you have a masculine sexual essence. You will naturally be able to contribute to her masculine decision process and, more importantly, for the intimacy. If you don't contribute to her masculine decision making process, the two of you will become depolarized by each other's energy. She'll be in the masculine. You'll be neutral. And there will be nobody in the feminine pole. This is fine for short periods of time. But if it becomes chronic, then the two of you will begin to feel like friends rather than lovers. The attractive juiciness of polarity will be replaced by two buddies discussing options. If you refuse to offer your masculine gift by acting and saying things like, I don't really care, it's up to you, then she will have to learn to depend on her own masculine capacity. Another way to say this is that she will begin to trust her own masculine more than yours. Then you will find that she trusts you less and less across the board. She will refuse to surrender to you even sexually because she hasn't been able to relax and trust you all day. You haven't offered her your masculine clarity and perspective. So she has to be her own man and give it to herself. As a practice, always help your woman make decisions by giving her perspective and telling her your choices while letting her know that you love her regardless of the decisions she makes. Often her feminine feelings will be so better than a decision than your masculine analysis. So encourage her to feel into the situation and trust her feelings. But for the sake of polarity and happiness and intimacy, always tell her what you would do and why. Even if you think she can make her own decision. Working with polarity and energy. Chapter 23. Your attraction to the feminine is inevitable. Masculine men are attracted to forms of feminine energy, radiant woman, beer, music, nature, etc. If a man tries to hide his attraction, it reveals in some degree of shame or respect to his own sexual core. If you are like most men, you probably hide the amount of sexual attraction you feel toward women every day, at work, on the street, and in the grocery store. You see women that turn you on. Sometimes you might want to have sex with them, but many times the feeling is more of a wave of refreshment washing through you. Seeing an especially radiant woman can fill your whole day with delight. A woman's exquisite scent can transport you to an enhanced paradise. A woman's smile can melt the moment into sheer beatitude. There are two ways to deal with your daily eye of attraction to the feminine: wisely and foolishly. To respond wisely, you must understand why you are attracted. To whom? Your sexual essence is always attracted to its energetic reciprocal. Masculine men are attracted to feminine women. Feminine men are attracted to masculine women. Balanced men are attracted to balanced women. About 80% of all men have a more masculine sexual essence. These men, of which you are probably one, are attracted to all things feminine. Not just feminine women, but anything with feminine energy. Anything which is radiant, alive, enlightening, relaxing, and moving feminine energy gets you out of your head and into your body. Music, beer, nature, woman, they are all forms of the feminine energy. It is not just a visually gorgeous woman who attracts you. If a woman is free and radiant in her own feminine energy, you are probably attracted. Sometimes more attracted, sometimes less attracted, but always attracted, at least enough to steal a glance at her form. This attraction is not only natural but healthy. It is a sign of polarity, the same kind of natural flow of polarization by which electricity flows between the positive and negative poles of a battery. It's nothing to be ashamed of. It's why there are men and women. The nature of polarity from the magnetism that flows between the north and south poles of the earth to the attraction that flows between your masculine core and the feminine radiance of a woman. If you feel uncomfortable with your attraction to women, you're probably uncomfortable with your own masculine essence. If you feel it is bad for a woman to be the object of your polar attraction, then you have probably disowned your masculine core. You have energetically emasculated yourself by condemning and suppressing your native desires. You are navigating your sexual essence rather than being at home with it. And any negative attitude you have about your attraction to women is a sign of fear. Somewhere along the line, you learn that such attraction was bad or evil. Your attraction to a woman, all kinds of women, is natural, normal, and beautiful. In fact, it is an aspect of the same desire that will ultimately lead you towards spiritual freedom. Your desire for a woman is an aspect of you. Your desire for pleasurable oneness. Your confession of desire is a confession of your desire to embrace life. To embrace life, to relax into oneness so that all opposites, including masculine and feminine, find their unity and love. Is it to be spiritually free? Eventually, you will recognize that all desire is an aspect of your native impulse to give love from beginning to end. Your attraction to women can be seen as a central gesture of your heart, your desire for love and unity. If you are a man with the masculine sexual essence, you will always feel sexual polarity when anyone who animates feminine energy. You may feel this attraction many times a day when many women enjoy it. Women are a blessing. The feminine, even in the non-human forms of a lush tropical island, a cold beer, or your favorite tune, can make the difference between dreariness and awe-ring and ecstasy. Our acceptance of sexual attraction, even with music and places, is at the root of our capacity to experience bodily pleasure. Sexual attraction, however, is very different from having sex. There is a big difference between choosing to be intimate with a woman and simply being attracted to her energy and radiance. Intimacy is a choice between people who want to commit to loving and serving one another, whereas the zing of attraction is the choiceless, natural flow of energy between your masculine core and feminine energy, wherever it is found. When a woman is relaxed in her feminine radiance, she is like beautiful music or a warm ocean breeze. You don't need to have sex with her and savor inexpressible joy. If you are like most men, a radiant woman can inspire you for hours or days. Remember, the desire she arouses in you is the blessing in itself. Acting on that desire is pursuing her in another matter entirely, dependent on whether such an action would truly serve both of you or not. But the mere inspiration felt while beholding a radiant woman is one of nature's gifts to you, the gift of a feminine blessing. The next time you have come upon a woman who sends a thrill through your body, relax into the thrill. Let her waves of feminine energy move through your body like a deep massage. Breathe fully without resisting the joy her sighting affords you. Breathe the joy all through your body, down to your toes. Don't stare at her. Don't even interact with her. But when you see her, you experience your attraction. Fully allow the energy of attraction to move freely through your body. Learn to magnify and sustain your desire so your whole body and breath open and de-open by its force. As you behold her, receive her vision as a blessing. Chapter 24. Choose a woman who is your complementary opposite. If a man is very masculine by nature, then he will be attracted to a very feminine woman who will complement his energy. The more neutral or balanced he is, the more balanced he will prefer his woman. And if a man is more feminine by nature, his energy will be complemented by the strong direction and purposiveness of a masculine woman. By understanding their own needs, men can learn to accept the whole package of a woman. For instance, a more masculine man can expect that any woman who really turns him on and enlivens him will also be relatively wild, undisciplined, bonkers, chaotic, prone to changing her mind and lying. Still, from an energetic perspective, this kind of woman will be much more healing and inspiring to him than a more balanced or neutral woman who is steady, reasonable, trustworthy, and able to say what she means in a way he can understand. You have probably met a woman who seemed fantastic, only to discover she has some emotional weirdness that you don't really want to deal with. She seemed incredibly sexy, but also a bit bonkers or crazy, saying one thing one moment and another the next. You have probably also met some very reasonable and trustworthy women who don't seem to constantly change their mind, and in fact, with whom you could have good conversations that don't end up frustrating you. Although you may love these women and enjoy spending time with them, they don't arouse you, your passion, as much as the women whose words you wouldn't trust to remain true for an afternoon, but who move their body in a way that drives you wild. Why can't a woman be more like a man? Many men have wondered, but of course, it is precisely those ways in which a woman is least like a man that most attract you sexually. If you have a masculine sexual essence, a woman's feminine shine, the energy that moves her body, her her utterly refreshing spontaneity and mystery, not to mention her delightful smile at what she attracts you. And she is more feminine a woman is at her less core. The less she is likely to evidence strong masculine traits, such as speaking clearly and unequivocally about thoughts and desires, rather than primarily expressing her feelings at the moment. A woman with a more feminine sexual essence will say she loves you one moment, and then when you have done something you are not even aware of, she will say she hates you. This is the beauty of the feminine. To her, the masculine grid of words and events is less relevant than the fluid of relationship and feeling. Thank God for such women who make no apologies for the oceanic depth and riptides of emotion. You will always be attracted to your sexual receptacle. So if you have a more feminine sexual essence, you will be attracted to a more masculine woman. You have probably seen men and women in couples like this. The man is more radiant and lively than the woman. The woman is more committed to her direction in life than the man. The relationship is more important to a man, whereas the woman likes to be left alone much of the time. There are signs of a relationship where the man has a more feminine essence and the woman's essence is more masculine. Other men with more sexual essences prefer women who are also more neutral, neither particularly masculine nor feminine. This kind of couple can talk about anything, and they like talking about everything. They share hobbies, friends, and even career goals through equally loving This kind of couple is usually less sexually passionate than highly polarized couples. It would be unusual to hear about this kind of neutral or balanced couple yelling at each other, throwing pillows, wrestling at each other down to the floor, and passionately making love right there and then. Thank y'all for y'all time, y'all. We're going to stop right there at page 88. This was The Way of the Superior Man by David Dida. Make sure y'all like, follow, share, subscribe, all that. Appreciate y'all time. Enjoy y'all Monday. Enjoy y'all week. We glow.